Wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Our distinguished speaker, Professor Dr. Faridah Abdul Manaf, former Deputy Director Internationalization and Global Network, International Islamic University Malaysia, members of the University Management Committee, Associate Professor Dr. Juliana Jaffri, Dean Kuliah of Pharmacy, will be our moderator for Murabbi Talk today. Dr. Liana Burhan, Director of Space of Knowledge for Change and Advancement, and the organizer for Murabbi Talk series, Deans and Directors, brothers and sisters, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Welcome to the IIUM SAF Murabbi Talk series featuring Professor Dr. Faridah Abdul Manaf with topic Scholarship, Financial Sustainability at IIUM Issues and Recommendations. The SAF Murabbi Talk series is a platform for all IIUM communities to share their efforts and experience in implementing Sejahtera Academic Framework or SAF. I am Khairul Azam from AHAS KIRKHS, will be MC for today. To get blessing from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, let us begin with the recitation of Kitab Al-Fatiha. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. A reminder to all participants, please record your attendance. Link is available in the chat room in Zoom and also in IIUM official YouTube channel. So without further ado, I'll now hand over the session to the moderator for today's session, Associate Professor Dr. Juliana Jaffri.
Thank you very much, Brother Khairul Azam. Distinguished guest speaker, Professor Dr. Faridah binti Abdul Manaf, members of the University Management Committee, Associate Professor Dr. Liana, Director of Office of Knowledge for Change and Advancement, Deans and Directors, brothers and sisters, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Today, we are going to have another SAF Murabbi talk series. My name is Juliana and I'm going to be the moderator for this afternoon session. We will be listening to another intriguing topic, very much related to SAF, which is scholarship and financial sustainability at IIUM, issues and recommendations. Financial sustainability is indeed important in all situations. And in SAF, it is definitely required for us to be able to continue and creating and expanding the optimum ecosystem that promotes and supports transformative humanization education process. To elaborate and share the knowledge on the topic for today, we have a special guest, or shall I say another Murabbi. She is Professor Dr. Faridah binti Abdul Manaf, the former Deputy Rector of Internationalization and Global Network at IIUM. Professor Faridah recently retired as Professor of English at English Language and Literature Department, Kuliah of Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Human Sciences, IIUM. She has a diverse research interest which includes Islamic thought, English Renaissance literature, Islamic literature and modern Malaysian literature. Being an avid writer, she has written many books and short stories. Some books she has written are entitled An Interpretation of Tragic Hero in Shakespearean Tragedies, which examines Al-Ghazali's thought in Shakespeare's play, and another historical novel entitled Wanita Rawa Terakhir. Professor Faridah now spends her time giving talks on English literature, Islam and literature, as well as women's in writing in public universities in Malaysia, and has been offered to teach creative writing online at Nanyang Technological University as a visiting writer for 2023. I will not spend more time talking about introducing Prof. Faridah. I think everyone is very keen to listen to what wisdom she has to say. So without further delay, I invite Professor Nur Faridah to continue with the talk series. The screen is all yours, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Dr. Juliana, the MC Khairul. And I can't really see who's online, but I wish Dr. Juliana, who has kindly invited me to this talk, to offer this talk. So, Assalamualaikum to everybody who's present. Thank you for being here. Now, this talk session is more like sharing, throwing in ideas, and I would like a two-way communication as we discuss and, look at issues that I raised in this presentation. Scholarship and financial sustainability at IIUM issues and recommendation. By scholarship, I don't mean, monetary beasiswa kind of thing, but it means the quality education, keilmuan at IIUM. And it's very closely associated to our ability to have money. Yeah, how do we sustain our financial position at the university? I think it's very core. We all know that whatever that we want to do at IIUM, the answer is always like, oh, we can't do this, there's no budget. All right, so I think we need to address this issue, look at the gap, look at ways how we can overcome this. All right, so next slide, please. The top point, the top outline is really, can we go to the next slide? One is the need to sustain quality education. This is what I meant by scholarship at IIUM. And the second one is the importance of financial sustainability at IIUM to ensure number one happens. So my concern here is just these two. Quality education, and how do we get there? By strengthening our financial situation. And then we look at issues, how we fail to address two, to address one, and what are the recommendations? I'm just throwing in ideas, and I would like more input from the 72 or 70, whatever number we have now, to have an open discussion. We can only solve problems if we are transparent, we are honest about things. Yeah, we don't want to protect anybody. Yeah, problems and issues can only be addressed if we are open about the real problem. So I hope we can do that in number 3, and then of course the conclusion. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the need for quality education at IIUM. We are almost 40 years old. Yeah, we should, as we promised, lead the way. A university's main job is to produce quality students. To have quality students, it needs quality staff, both academic and admin at all levels. We cannot just concentrate on having good teachers, but administrators, we don't have quality administrators, because both parties are equally important in running a university. All right. How do we define quality? For me, it's knowledgeable. Everybody is qualified to do what he or her job is, according to the scope, regardless whether you are academic or whether you are an administrator. You are efficient. Speed in delivering is very important. Very often, how many things get delayed when we call out an agency, government agency, and the phone keeps on ringing all morning, all day. And when somebody does pick it, somebody says, oh, I'm sorry, so and so is on leave. End of the story. I mean, you don't get things done just because a person is absent and the next person cannot answer for that office or for that organization. So a lot of time is wasted there. A good organization, whoever picks up the phone in that office will be able to cater to the need of the other person in the end. I've seen this, a few offices, SOC, for example, EPF, for example. So we need to have that kind of efficiency. And then we are always available, ready to assist. The phone cannot be ringing more than 3 times. And then it will tell you what kind of organization you have, what kind of CEO you have. If the phone keeps ringing after 3 rings, nobody answers, this is not a very good organization. So keep that in mind. We have to be humane. We have to be kind. We have to create happy and positive environment in our workplace, and that will trigger out to the receivers. Next, please. The need to sustain quality education or scholarship at IIUM is also because we are an international Islamic university. So that's double burden. We are international, we are Islamic. Double burden. Other people may just be like, we are just a University Malaya, CUKM. But we are international, then we are Islamic. So a lot of expectations on us to deliver. So it is, we all know, it is an amanah. I'm just reminding all of us, we all know this. It is an amanah to give the best for the ummah. Our beloved Prophet had always insisted for us to work hard. One who works hard is the friend of Allah. And one who does not work is considered by Allah to be his enemy. Wow. Take a minute to absorb that. Whoever who's lazy, who's not sincere, who's not amanah, is Allah's enemy. Wow. We should be afraid. Now, Sahih Bukhari 6719 says, everybody of you is a shepherd and is responsible for his or her flock. So whoever we are, we could be a cleaner, but below us, we've got our flock. We may be an administrator, below us, our flock, and so on and so forth. So we are all responsible, whoever, who are our colleagues. Rector, of course, to his colleagues, to his employees, dean, to his or her kuliah, head to his or her department, and so on and so forth. It should not, however, be just about academic or admin performance. We all talk about this, but very often we forget about the well-being of the people. Remember, healthy body produces healthy mind. After 34 years of working, I came to this realization a little bit too late. By almost the end of my tenure as a professor, the body's gone. Because nobody reminded me, healthy body produces healthy mind. Everybody says, work for healthy mind, work for healthy mind. It's all academic, but we forget the body. So humbly, I would like to remind everybody, think about health, very early. We cannot be like machine working 24/7, because at the end of the day, it will take a toll on your health. I think Islam puts a lot of emphasis on health. That's why, our sports and everything is also part of the jihad. Next. So I would like to remind all of us of lessons from the past, the golden age of Islam. Although we are often reminded, jangan pandang belakang, don't look back. People will say, we are modern, we cannot live in the past. I think we are so wrong if you think like that, because past scholars were the closest to the time of the Prophet. There was still little pollution, and they were also engaged with other things, of the environment. The achievements of past scholars of the golden age are not fully explored, I feel, at IIUM. While doing my research in literature and Islam, I tried to find experts of Ibn Sina, other than those who keep it to medicine and all that. But Ibn Sina is beyond medicine. I discovered later on, Very difficult to find real experts on Ibn Sina, Abu Qasim al-Zahrawi, father of modern surgery, Ibn al-Nafis, father of circulatory physiology and anatomy, Abbas ibn Firnas, father of medieval aviation, Al-Farabi, father of formal logic in the Islamic world, Ibn Rushd, father of rationalism, Muhammad al-Shabani, father of Muslim international law, Ismail al-Jazari, father of automation. And robotics. This is just to mention a few. I was looking at a few months ago, I was giving a talk on, writing a paper education, child education and development, and we zoomed to Ibn Sina. You know, he was looking at children's development as a musician, as an entrepreneur, and so on and so forth. So shocking. An article on that should be out. It was supposed to be out last December, a training program with Indonesia, but it's not there yet. We finished, IIUM finished our chapters, but Indonesia took so long to finish there, so the book is not out yet. So that's really interesting, because Ibn Sina was saying even the children's what do you call that? Children's apa ni? Dodo itu apa panggil? Children's lullaby was very important in Islamic parenting as young, yeah, as at birth, because it will trigger the intelligent self of the children. So, you know, lullabies and all that, the rhythm and music, all the aspects not fully explored. But UNESCO has got Ibn Sina carved there as child development specialist. But I think at IIUM, I don't know, education, whether they have looked at it or not. It'll be interesting to bring that into discussion later on. Now, as I said, as a literature person studying English literature, reading Ibn Sina, Farabi, Al-Arabi, Al-Ghazali, Faridah Attar, gave me a different dimension, an add-on cross-civilizational understanding of my text. And when I share it with my Mat Saleh friend, my foreign friend in the West, they were very appreciative and they got interested in Islam, yeah, when shared with non-Muslim audience. So it becomes a form of da'wah. If you remember Faruqi, he said, and goal of knowledge is da'wah. How many of us do this? We teach because we want students to get a good job, blah, 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 but I hope this is not true. We forget about the element of da'wah in teaching, in disseminating information. Next, please. Next slide. Why? Yeah, why is the need for excellence in Islamic scholarship at IIUM? First, we need we need to attract. If we are excellent, we are able to attract bright students. Bright students will only be attracted to institutions which house top-notch scholars, innovators with great facilities, great libraries. I mean, if you think about, oh, I want to go to Oxford, I want to go Harvard, what's the biggest attraction? Top-notch scholars, right? And top-notch libraries, great facilities. So we have to have this in IIUM. Yeah, we need to create great minds to innovate, create solution to existing problems. I remember when I did my Fulbright at Cornell, one of the Ivy Leagues in the US, my flatmate, you know, I was sharing an apartment, and this gave me this lady from Israel. She was an Israeli scientist. We were like buddies, but you know, we got to know each other and there was no hostility. We became good friends. But she, a great mind from Israel, came to Cornell because there was one professor in Cornell good in her area, in her science area. So this is it. People want to come to us because they know we've got great minds at IIUM. So I think all of us have to establish that, make us great scholars. And then people come, oh, Dr. Liana in IIUM, I want to do my postdoc there. You know, I've got people, bukan nak cakap sombong lah. Sometimes people come to me from nowhere. And because of my book, what is it? National to Global, the book on women's writing, and it became a benchmark for people to understand women's writing in Malaysia before and after independence. So people say, okay, she's there, we want to learn from her, that kind of thing. So I think we have to work, but to be there, satu, we have to be really interested in our field. Yeah, we bend our back to be the great one. Yeah, to be the great one. Recently I was in Segamat, UiTM Segamat, and the judges who came in, there's no money sebab UiTM pun tak ada duit nak bayar judges. But for me, because I'm retired, I just go in to just help out and also to sell my books. But one of the professors from UNIMED took 2 planes. Yeah, she traveled from Perlis to Penang, Penang to KL, KL to JB, and then from JB she drove up to Segamai. And I thought, wow, this lady, she's going to be a great scholar one day. She paid everything on her own. But once in Segamai, she did her networking. Yeah, she networked because there were other people there, and she saw what UiTM Segamai did was great, not done in other places. I will share with that in a bit. Yeah, so she learned, and that she would take back to UNIMED and say she wants to revamp her English program because what she saw in Segamai work. But she paid everything on her own. How many times have I done this myself? And I encourage. When I was deputy rector for internationalization, I took a group of women, professors, traveled all the way using our own money, paid for our own accommodation. But what you get back in return, money cannot buy. Money cannot buy. Yeah, so this is it. This is how it is. To be great minds, to be great innovators, you have to expand your worldviews. You have to expose yourself to different work cultures. You go out of Malaysia. Go out of Malaysia and see how things are done. And don't think about, wait for money from the government, wait money from the university. They will not give it to you. Satu, tak ada duit. Satu lagi, if you want to have the extra mile, extra edge, you have to find it yourself. All right? You invest. But what comes to it is more than what you would invest. Right? We need to counter innovations that go against humanity. Stories, for example, in IIUM, this is what we do. We counter innovations that work against humanity. We've got this slogan, humanizing education, right? This is basically it. All right. So stories, for example, of use of nuclear energy. When fell to non-Muslim, they use it for war. But there was another story of this Muslim scientist. He used it to cure cancer, that kind of thing. So our innovation is always about helping others, helping our environment. Yeah, because the Prophet said, or Allah said, the best of mankind is those who make work easy for other people, right? We do well, alhamdulillah, in environment literacy. Congrats to Tan Sri and team, those who work along this line. But I think we need to connect whatever that we do, the community work, the community service, to high impact research that could benefit the people and environment and innovation. I mean, helping people is nice. Growing fruits and vegetables is nice. But how do you ensure that you address the food crisis from farming to table, that kind of thing? And how do you market it so that it can generate income for the university? So we need to do a little bit more. But, this for me is just a baby step. Is good. To start is better than not starting it. But then what's next? What's next? Yeah, next, please. And this will lead us to the next topic, the importance of financial sustainability to ensure quality education. I'm just zooming to this, finance, quality education, scholarship. Quality education or excellence scholarship cannot happen without having good funding. Unfortunately, money walks, money talks. No money, no talk. Yeah, I would like to draw your attention to the history of well-sustained universities like Al-Qarawiyyin, Al-Azhar, Oxford, Harvard, and etc. Al-Qarawiyyin, founded by Fatima Ferry, daughter of a wealthy merchant during the reign of Idris II in Fez. Now, I was just reading some literature review from the West. They do not want to recognize Al-Qarawiyyin as the first university. They will say, it's just a madrasah. Doesn't count. It's only recently that it becomes a university. But I think as Muslims, you have to really fight for this, because any university in the beginning, even the one in India said to be the first university, they all started as religious institutions. Then it developed, all right? Al-Qarawiyyin, it was built as a mosque, which became the largest religious institution, largest institution or university in North Africa. It attracted students, even way back then, yeah? Poets, Muslim jurists, astronomers, doctors, philosophers, mathematicians from all over the region. Ibn Khaldun was an alumni, right? So even back then, it was just not looking at religious studies, right? It expanded. Next, please. And then we look at Al-Azhar. For centuries, next slide. For centuries, it thrived on use of Waqaf for its operations, including construction and maintenance of buildings, scholarship for students, and support of its faculty and staff. Al-Azhar University received funding from philanthropists, individuals or organizations that donate money or resources to support the university's vision and goal. These donations often come from wealthy individuals, business leaders, organizations within Muslim community, both locally and internationally, who see the importance of supporting the education and research at Al-Azhar University. You will argue, but Malaysian culture or Malaysian law on Waqaf is different. You know, Waqaf, you cannot sentuh because it belongs to another territory. Let's brainstorm on how we can work around this. Yeah, there's always such thing as negotiation. But the latest in Al-Azhar, I think I will touch on that latest on Al-Azhar. Yeah? The latest development. We were there, my team and I visited Al-Azhar, and we met the Minister of Waqaf in Al-Azhar, and I will share with you the experience. This was before COVID, when I was still the deputy rector. Now, next, please. We will look at other universities like Harvard. Now, a data, 2020 data showed that the endowment was over USD 40 billion. Oh, look at that, billion. Their endowments are funds donated to the university that are invested, and the income is used to support the university. So investment is a significant source of funding for all universities. Question for IIUM, do we invest and get good returns? Where do we invest? Who manages? You know, I had somebody gave me a data, 2020 database on finance. It doesn't, but maybe because of confidentiality, but it doesn't look good. Where we invest, how much we get in return, who manages. I think we need an annual report which is transparent so that we can all have access to it. We don't. So this is like still the dark. Mana nak tolong? Kalau orang dalam kesusahan menyuruh, how do people help? You know, there's so many of us, thousands of us with great knowledge in economics, everything, you know. Kalau you don't share that kind of information with us, how are we going to contribute? How do we take the financial problem in IIUM seriously? Because we don't know how bad we are, all right? So for universities like Harvard, money is important to recruit, to retain good talents. You attract good talents because you pay them well. Yeah, and this is something I got from the net from them. To sustain the quality of education, all universities often have strong focus on research and a commitment to hiring and retaining highly qualified faculties. They also often have a long history of alumni support, which can provide additional funding for scholarship, building projects, and other initiatives. Let's look at Oxford experience. Next slide, please. Oxford University colleges, excluding Kellogg and St. Cross and Reuben, because they've got many colleges. The rest are financially independent, except for these three. Yeah, in 2019 to 2020, the combined annual incoming resources for these 36 colleges was 480 million pound. Yeah, 480 million pound. Tak sampailah billion. But still, yeah. The three main sources of income of these colleges were teaching, research, residential. 38% of aggregate income. And you wonder like how teaching can bring in money. But you know, I once enrolled in Oxford continuing education. I bayar berapa ratus pound. I paid, you know, like a couple of hundreds pound to get a certificate in creative writing. Very popular. And my colleagues, I did it online. My colleagues online were from all over the world, from different walks of life. They were judges, they were lawyers, they were business people, you know, who wanted another side of life, you know, to learn creativity. So, you know, you make money from this. And of course, the other online courses, architecture. If you look Oxford online courses, they offered a lot. So I suppose teaching comes from that. Research, of course, you know, residential, the residential halls that you rent out, they make money from this, 38%. And then investment income, 31%, very high. Legacies and donation, 22%. You know, we thought that they thrive on donation, but it's lower than investment and teaching and research and residential. Other income mostly comes from trading activities, vacation, conferences. Yeah, they offer conferences during summer and people pay a lot. I remember going to one. And yeah, a lot of money made from that. And 2019 to 20, total resources expanded to 400 and how's this? Yeah? Total resources, all right, up to 450 million pounds. But 85% of this expenditure was directly attributed to core activity like teaching, research, and residential services. The remaining 15% was split between costs of fundraising, running trading activities, and investment management costs. Next, this is very important. How do we avoid political interference in managing universities? We all know it is not cheap to run a university, but on Waqaf, Al-Qarawin, Al-Azhar survived for centuries. Pause. Absorb that. But political interference with Waqaf system may disrupt the effectiveness of Waqaf as it was set to. What happened in Egypt? The 1961 law introduced by the Egyptian government after the 1952 law aimed to bring Al-Azhar under its control by eroding its financial independence through the takeover of its Waqaf assets by the Ministry of Religion and Waqaf and making the position of Sheikh Al-Azhar equal to that of the Prime Minister. You know, currently Al-Azhar financial status is not as strong as it used to be. In 2018, the management of productive Waqaf only generated around 5 million Egyptian pounds. That cannot even cover the needs of the same period. So, next, issues to ensure sustainability of quality education or good scholarship at IIUM. We need this. Excellent students, especially at postgraduate level. And I think we must interview them. I don't know how many kuliah do interview postgraduates. Must not allow computers to choose our students. Computers cannot detect attitude, cannot detect speaking and thinking ability. Even, you know, I suspect, even at undergraduate, we need this. We need to interview our students. We cannot leave it to UPU. The experience in UITM Segamat, I was there 2 days ago as a judge of their final project presentation. As somebody from the industry, of course, I cannot use my professorship anymore, but I've got a second life. as a creative person from the creative industry as a writer. So I came in as that. And these students were diploma students. The point of entry to diploma program in English is A-. So as I was talking to students, my God, you know, perfect English, they come out with product, commercialized product, either ebook or whatever. Ebook, the English was so good. I said, did you send it to proofreaders? No need. Their English is already too good, very good. And I checked, memang. And they have monetized their ebook, you know, on gaming, on whatever. And basically 20 to 35 students that I heard, basically they were on the same page. You don't get like, oh, good student, bad student, on same page. So I said, the teachers, the curriculum must have got it right. I have problem with my undergraduate student, even my postgraduate students. Sometimes they don't even understand sentence structure, grammar, how to write good essays and all that at postgraduate level. So if you look at Harvard and so on, how they choose their students. Sometimes it's not the organization, but students are already very good. There was somebody who wrote in Guardian, I think, said, you lock up student from mediocre university and student from Harvard or one of this Ivy League, and you don't teach this Harvard student for a semester. Let them loose, you'll find that Harvard student can still do well, even though you lock in a closet, because they're already good. All right. So this is very important. Excellent students, must choose them well. Excellent teachers. Again, how can you produce good students if teachers are no good? All right. So excellent administrators. How can good teachers, good students do well if administrators make difficult our job? Too many bad policies. You know, you will slow down our speed. You will slow down our job. Yeah. I don't want to get personal, but I think I have to. IIUM Press. How many of our academic books get stopped? And then when I check with IIUM Press, they said, oh, you know, the new policy from finance. And I spoke to finance. And I said, Puan Naimah, you cannot do this. You know, one book from IIUM Press that we sent, I actually have already produced 3 books with other publishers. We cannot be this low. How can people know us for our scholarship if books don't keep coming out, right? I think we need to sit down and troubleshoot this problem. It's not that it cannot be solved, but it must be our sincerity, our love for the university to move forward. Yeah? To move forward. And then excellent libraries. We need to have specialized libraries, niche libraries, so that scholars and researchers from outside are excited to visit us and work in our libraries. When I applied for my Fulbright, I choose Cornell because I know it has world-class Southeast Asian library. And then when I'm in Europe, I will make it a point, I will visit Leiden because Leiden has got good library for Southeast Asia, that kind of thing. So, you know, in IIUM, if we specialize Southeast Asian writers, Islamic finance, whatever that we are good at, so that people who want to learn about the field say, oh, it's only available in IIUM. All right. When I donated my Southeast Asian literature books to IIUM, I said, please make it a specialist corner so that researchers from outside who want to study Southeast Asian writer can come to us. I don't know whether they have done that. And then excellent university press. It has to be, as I said, efficient, fast. It cannot be bureaucratic. You know, for it to work well, you must have enough staff, yeah, so that we can work faster. Excellent university bookshop. My God, you know, when I was in the US on my scholarship, I traveled quite a bit. And I went to UPenn. UPenn is another Ivy League. And the bookshop, you know how many stories? 4 stories. And with cafe and all that, my God, you know, this is the kind of university you want to go to. Excellent university bookshop. And you must have activities to encourage reading, book discussion, to help book sales. If people don't visit your bookshop, they will not know what kind of books are there, right? What kinds of books are available. Next. So we also have to bring students out of their comfort zone, give them assignments that will solve our local problem. Example, a river, or create products that we can monetize. We have to have our own IIUM product. You know, I'm so proud of IIUM Madu Kelulut. It's so good, and I've been promoting it. That you can say that is one successful IIUM product. So IIUM product for so long, I've been trying to encourage my friends in Dell and also psychology, get together, design an Islamic board game. We cannot be playing Monopoly. What kind of values Monopoly tells you to do? Rob banks, get into jail. Come on. You know, we have to come up with Islamic board game with Islamic values, Islamic toys, and so on. So I think we can do this if we throw the ideas to our probably final year product students like UITM, they throw it to their final year product students, come up with this and tap on the entrepreneur side of your product, right? At the same time, teaching them English or teaching them psychology. It has to be more than one dimension. We have to live up to our international status. Bring in international scholars as visiting scholars, albeit online. You know, when I was offered by Nanyang Technological University as a visiting writer online, this is it. They do that from time to time. And having Zoom meeting, bringing in international people won't do it because you're talking about specific thing, but you don't really go into classroom. What I'm talking here is visiting professors in your classroom. Expose our staff and students to different ways of thinking by the presence of these outsiders. Zoom talks, as I said, will not be effective if not geared to specific topic, to a specific classroom. For example, I bring in a Black American professor to speak on Black American literature in my American literature classroom, or Southeast Asian librarian specialist to speak to our librarians. I have requested, as I said, a specialist collection on Southeast Asia. Actually, they've got a group of librarians in Europe. And then, you know, the members also come from all different parts of the world. And I'm a member to that. And from time to time, I will give this to our librarian. I said, go on a conference and, you know, do your network. I don't know what happens. Maybe they're waiting for money as well. But if I were you, you've got the opportunity. How much is an air ticket to Europe compared to the network that you have, right? So you have to think like that. Now, we have to have high impact research, must be recovered. The data, the financial data that I had, financial status, very little money made out of research, very little money. And my friend from the bank, investment bank, who saw the data said, I'm surprised. Why aren't your kuliahs make it a point that each of you try to work with agencies, banks, to get even small research grant. I think we cannot be relying on government grant. One, they are difficult to get, but sponsorship grant is easy. You know, it's easy to get. I think all you need to do is learn how to write a proposal. And I think entrepreneur, consultancy, holdings, consultancy, and entrepreneur, actually they can help you write good proposals. all right, even bid for you. So issues often center around budget, no budget, but who's looking for money when we know it's not cheap to run a university? I look at the structure in IIUM. There are a few units or agencies called entrepreneurship, but each entrepreneurship unit or division or what do you call sub company ke apa kat holding, they all have different roles. Yeah, either grooming students with their entrepreneurship or grooming lecturers. Yeah, different roles and different scope, but the goal is not to generate income for the university. So where do we look for money then? If there is no one unit that actually focus on looking for money, I look at the financial committee of IIUM and look at the members. They were all our board members. Board members are diplomats. They are not business people. Adalah seorang dua banker, but the rest are either government top-notch officer. They are not good for making money. So, you know, we have to restructure. Yang nak cari duit ni kena from that line. I was thinking like if rector is here, I want to suggest to him, you call back retired people who are in that line. Great economists, great business people, set a group and give them the task. Go think about ways to generate income for the university, and then profit sharing. Bagilah, you know, if they manage to bring, give them whatever percentage. Yeah, no such thing as pro bono. Orang pun nak makan, especially retirees. But I think we have to really look into this. We have to be serious, right? People who know where to invest and bring in ROIs. Yeah, otherwise it's the same old, no money, and we'll be stuck here while others move forward, because especially private university, they know how to get money. Perhaps we also need to do a roundtable discussion with them and learn from them. Recommendation, how am I with time here? It's almost 4 o'clock. Okay, almost 4 o'clock. So can we move on to the next slide? I'm okay with 1 hour for discussions and sharing and talking and brainstorming. Recommendations. This is what I hope to do, or I would encourage, and I hope to do. The moment I get my gratuity, I will give some to create small scholarship. In fact, I've already gotten some friends. Their zakat money, I give to my kuliah and create a small scholarship. It helped at least 2 or 3 people. Yeah, we can do that. Create a small scholarship, create small scholarships to fund students' fee. But I tell them, use it for student fee, not for their whatever. Because student fee will go back to the university. This is how we sustain it. You give lah, because you're a donor, you can give whatever condition you want. I want this to give to this, and fee, right? And I want what kind of student. So they have to look elsewhere for other needs, unless they are bright students. If they are bright, then of course lah, we say, well, okay, the money is for you, for fee and whatever. So we have to encourage this. I think our zakat money, zakat money, EPF money, when you take them out, you have to pay zakat. That zakat money give back to university. All right. Be flexible with our policies and regulation. As I said, you know, I found out that books were stalled in IIUM Press because the new regulation, proofreader must have company. Proofreader must be approved. Even you have approved, finance must approve. If the price is not right, come on. How many proofreaders have companies? As long as they are reputable, they have vetted good, they've got a good track record, you know, proofreading, DBP, proofreading UKM, books, and so on. We should not make it too difficult. Yeah, because of that, books cannot be published because you play there. You know, you stop work there. All right. So look at our policies. The thing is, Allah says, kalau kita mudahkan kerja orang, if we facilitate, we accommodate people's work, you are the best. But if you make things difficult for people, you are the enemy of Allah. To be flexible with our policies and regulations when it comes to people wanting to donate, especially for a department kuliah. There was a time I heard this firsthand from the donor. I wanted to donate, but finance said, oh, cannot, you have to do this, you have to do that. In the end, this person gave to another university. So please check yourself. If people want to donate, check, don't make it difficult. Duit rompak tak nak lah kan. Okay lah. That one okay. Awareness of the importance to facilitate must be made to everyone at the university. If we have this mindset, if we have this spirit, our job flow will be very easy, very fast. Transparency, financial annual report, I think must be made available. As I said, if we don't know what the problem is, how can we help? Alumni must be would to contribute. Is there enough engagement with them? I remember, kan nak cakap besar lah, because I also work with a team. And my immediate boss was very supportive also. So it's all teamwork. But when I was director of alumni, we did a gala dinner, we raised fund. And we did career fair in Mega Mall. We also made profit, right? So we need that kind of thing, create event where people will give us money. Now, in wanting to go together, I have to warn this, I have to say this, teamwork, internal communication is very important. Very often we are clueless, we don't know what's going on. When we ask for information, tak tahu, don't know, not clear. Teamwork, you call for meeting, only number 2, number 3, number 4 comes. The first boss didn't come. So how is it that we want to grow together? Yeah, number 1 is always important. Yeah, number 2 is number 2 for that reason. It's not perhaps experienced enough to be number 1. So teamwork, internal communication is very important. We must be on the same page. I help you, you help me, kind of spirit. And give credit where it is due. Someone who worked so hard to bring the money, don't pound that work. Oh, I hate this. Don't take credit and ignore the person who have worked so hard and take the credit for yourself. Because people get demoralized if they are not recognized. Although people say, oh, as Muslim, we don't want all those things. Allah gives us all those rewards, but we are only human. The best organization, a Greek yogurt company, profit sharing. Everybody, whatever the company gets, everything gets equal share. And even in hard times, they survive because everybody is happy working because everybody is being recognized. All right. Demoralization can kill an institution. All right, next. It's very important to build our network at individual level, at corporate level, especially international. We have to invite, we already have, but we have to do it regularly. Industry captains to talk to students on regular basis. Because we have to ensure the butterfly effect is there. Butterfly effect is like domino effect. You trigger, then it moves, and then the whole thing will be affected. Talks must not be known only to a few people. Like, sometimes I was also guilty of that when I was in alumni and so on. I invite people, only a few people will turn up. So much so, there was a time we invited Professor Hassandi. He was with the palace. He was the religious officer with the palace. And the pressing issue at that time was one of our scholars said, it's okay to be a prostitute if the condition warrants it. So we were not happy. Our women's group were not happy. So we invited him. We invited the policewoman from Bukit Aman who deal with prostitution. Well, only few people turn up. And the comment made by Arwah Datuk Hassanuddin was, ni lah saya benci UIA ni. Bila buat talk, sikit je datang. This is what I hate about coming to give a talk to IIUM. We invite few people will attend. So I don't know, maybe we also have to address this issue, especially if you get world-class speakers. Everybody must tune in. How else do we learn from the other? How else do we get different ways of looking at things? All right. Invest, and I'm happy today, 120. Tak pernah saya dapat 120. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Dr. Liana. Invest and make money grow. This is another thing. And I'm not an expert on this, but looking at other organizations, other universities, they invest. They invest rightly. So kita ni takut-takut nak invest. Oh, we cannot invest our land because it's for institutional purpose. Come on lah. I think we can work around that. Doing money, getting the money returned to us is also part of building the institution, right? So the way we interpret things have to be more creative. So invest, this is it. We look at Harvard, we look at other universities, lots of the money that fund the university, that oil the university is from investment. So investment committee, financial investment have to be relooked. They cannot be board members because they are not financial people, not investment people. Now 7, set up a translation center of great Islamic works. This one, I think, will attract people from outside to us. If we translate works of Islamic scholars that I mentioned earlier, beyond science also, literature, philosophy, medicine, great works, I think people will come to us, especially Islamic works. They will come to us. And I think this is how research grew as well. Now, I think in conclusion, let me check time. It's already 4:01. That will leave us some time to have your response lah. Conclusion, please. Okay, usually macam ni lah. After each talk, we may walk away from this talk feeling skeptical. Oh, it's easy to talk, but how do you do it? You can do that. You can go away not feeling touched, not feeling moved, or you can say, yeah, we do have an issue. Recognize the issue. We do have an issue here. We do have money problem. We need to work on quality education. We need to produce great minds, leaders, and so on. When there is a will, there is a way. Never start a goal with, but there's no money. At one point, I organized 2 film festival. We started with zero money, I tell you. But the idea was that we want to promote Islam through film. We want to gather all the Muslim scholars together. Alhamdulillah, we raised 60,000. We wanted to raise 80,000. We got 60,000. And then university felt sorry for me. University gave me 20,000. Okay lah, alhamdulillah. And then when UKM, National University Singapore, wanted to work with Iran, they saw our plaque, IIUM Islamic Film Festival on the wall. My friend from UKM said, hey, Faridah, he called me Faridah. We saw IIUM already on the wall when we're just starting to network with Iran. Alhamdulillah, yeah. And money we can find, but good ideas are hard to come by. This is what we want to tap from our students. I remember, dulu kita buat River of Life, River Project, Save Our River Project, 2015. And then we wanted ideas how to solve our pollution problem. We throw in a competition and all our undergraduates especially from engineering, took place. If Dr. Fauzia Toha and Dr. Fazlin is here, they will remember this. And then the group that won came out with very good, simple, cheap solution, how to address the pollution problem. Unfortunately, the ecosystem is not there. There was no people from the industry to take up the idea. Kalau in the West, in Holland especially, my son-in-law is a Dutch. He said at undergraduate level, everybody has to do a startup business. 2-3 orang. So he did a startup business with his 2 friends, a drone technology thing. And after graduation, that business picked up. He employed 5 people. But the problem is there is an ecosystem. The government pump in money, philanthropists pump in money without expecting any returns. Just let the kids grow their business. Yeah, alhamdulillah, it picked up. Yeah, recently that company won top 5 in an investment competition in New York, and they got $500,000. So this is it. I think this is something that we have to discuss with the government, that the ecosystem must be there. Our students innovate, ecosystem from business must pick up, develop. Like I was saying just now, Islamic board game. Kena ada manufacturer, take it, or we develop it and then we commercialize it and it becomes an IIUM product. Definitely there'll be buyers. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I have triggered some ideas for us to move forward. I cannot be giving solution, just ideas to trigger some ideas for us to think and to move forward to ensure IIUM sustainability as a great Islamic university is there. It remains. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Nur Faridah, for all the elaboration on the issues of financial sustainability, and also the recommendations that you gave for us at the Kuliah and all the offices and centers of studies to think of in ways that we can generate income. And no doubt, having good financial sustainability is required, especially if we were to sustain and if we were to continue expanding our generating scholars, and also expanding our teaching and learning facilities and research facilities. I especially like your remark during at the beginning of your talk, which is money walks, money talks, no money, no talk. So it's actually very important. I, as a dean, can actually comprehend that, because we usually we'll find ourselves in a difficult situation, especially if we want to innovate something. But alhamdulillah, we will of course keep in view all the recommendations that you gave. I managed to jot down something which is very interesting to me, whereby when you mentioned that we can maybe work together with financial institutions, for example, banks, to get research grant. And because we know that research grant is very difficult to get nowadays, and that's a very interesting idea or recommendation as well. And then another of your recommendation is towards the university, is for the university to maybe bring in more business people, okay, to give ideas and to help the university in money or income generating. So I can't agree more on that. And with that, I would like to open the session for any
I would like to say
discussion.
Assalamualaikum to Tan Sri, ya. Tan Sri baru
Tan
nampak.
Sri, yes. Assalamualaikum Tan Sri Rector. Tan Sri Zul,
Nampak
yes.
ya.
We have just finished. Tan Sri, you
Unmute,
are
tak
muted.
dengar, Tan Sri. Unmute. Tak dengar, unmute the
Tan Sri, you are muted. Can you please switch on your mic?
Okay.
Okay, yes.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much
Waalaikumsalam.
for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah.
And I must apologize that I couldn't attend your talk in time, but I was listening to the larger part of your discussion, and I'm very pleased that you remind us of what being international is all about. I think that's the first point that I think we need to realize in the university, that being international is something which is more difficult than being just a university in Malaysia or somewhere else. So that point I think is well taken, Faridah. And I always remind myself, the word international doesn't mean that we are automatically international, you know. And I keep on reminding myself when we go to travel to other countries, some of the airports that we know of do not even have the name international in it. Heathrow, there's no such thing as Heathrow International Airport, JFK, you know, most of these major, Changi doesn't have international, but they are international. So it doesn't lie in the name. It lies on what you actually do in that particular place. Even the universities that you mentioned, Harvard, Oxford, they don't have international in front of their name, but yet they are international. So I think we must be very doubly conscious that we've got international right stuck in our name, but are we international? I think that's the first question that we need to ask. Doesn't mean that there's the word international up front that we are automatically. What makes it?
But I think that there is a need to share that aspect as well. I think that's what also, it takes two to tango, right?
Yeah.
So people won't know us if we are not out there. So that's something which I feel lacking, you know, that the best mind in the Islamic world is not really out there.
It's right, exactly.
Itulah masalah dia.
So the whole idea is we make it international. It's not the name. So you need to ask yourself now, what if I make today to be known as international? Myself, my workplace, you know, my environment, my work, you know, the prestige that you bring. I know sometimes we are so tawadu in the sense that we don't want to project ourselves, but if your niyat is right, you're not projecting yourself, you're projecting the institution. And this is what I think James Collins said. People who have no ego will push their ego to the institution, not to themselves. You know, I mean, we cannot run from ego, we're human beings, but we know where to push our ego. The ego is pushed to the institution, and the institution gets the name, not us. So each time when we do something, we need to project it so that we are recognized, or at least institutions are recognized. Yeah? But if you want to just remain quiet, not to be known, you want to be humble, then nobody knows you.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I always give this example, Faridah,
you know, the thing is that there are so many fellowship, and you know, I'm in the Fulbright committee, but every time kita promote, go, no takers.
Exactly.
No takers.
Exactly.
So I think this is something else, you know, that we need to, you know, when we go there, it's just not us learning from them, but most of the time they also learn from us, and they appreciate that.
Exactly.
You know, my thing too, when I give talk at University of Virginia, the reporter doesn't even know the difference between Arabic and Muslim. So he asked me, so you are Arabic?
Yeah.
Tak tahu between Muslim and Arabic, the difference.
Yes.
So it's our job to go out there.
At one time, I was in Oxford listening to a talk, and the vice chancellor sits on the railing. You know, he doesn't have a separate seat like we always have. In the center, we sit separately. You know, whether we listen or not, it's not a business. He sat just on the railing, and he's one of those. So we need to change this mindset. That's why I think you pointed very rightly. In the university, everybody is equal. We are first among equal. You know?
Tapi I think we need to find out also why people are reluctant to venture out of Malaysia. We need to know that, because I know among my female friends, family satu, and then apa lagi? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But we need to address this. I mean, if you want to be serious scholars, you have to venture out.
Yeah,
and you
have to venture out in the most hostile terrain.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think
no
perhaps
point going to venture out to another Muslim community.
Encouraging lah.
Yeah.
Tan Sri, maybe kita pun kena facilitate juga. I remember one of my friends, dia dapat fellowship, pergi ke Oxford, and then doing, humanities. But the kind of regulation that placed upon her is the same as they place upon science. 8 articles in 2 years. For humanities, this is quite trying, but I told her, you can do it because you can co-author with other people, and then that can be easily done. But things like that sometimes make people shy away from applying or accepting because they think, oh, it's a little bit too much. I think do not put any condition. Dah dapat tu, encourage you. Go.
Exactly.
Because to get fellowship in Oxford, bukan senang.
Exactly. I mean, this is what we are trying to do.
Nak letak point 1, 2, 3, 4. Nak menyusahkan orang. This is what I said. People who facilitate others are Allah's best friend. Who don't work hard is the enemy of Allah. Orang work hard, kita appreciate.
Exactly.
Right? I think this is it lah. I think encouragement, recognition is very important. In this line of business.
I think as far as I'm concerned, we have liberalized the system as much as we could. In other words, you come to us. I think I just got a
Tan Sri, I think at the lower level juga lah, the head of department pun janganlah menyusahkan pula kan. Deans, hopefully at that level, everybody on the same page. But the other thing yang the financial committee, I found out that financial committee universiti kita ni orang-orang dia bukan from business or from investment. So how are they going to find money for us? Maybe the board jangan duduk dalam tu. Maybe the committee yang investment people, economic people, whatever business people yang tahu pasal investment ni, they report to board. But board cannot be that because they don't. Most of them are diplomats, politicians, kerajaan punya, KSN manalah dia tahu nak buat business.
You tell me about it. Yesterday, Faridah, we had a retreat, the BOG retreat, What is glaringly absent are all the ambassadors. They are members of the board. Some of them came to be.
I think you need to have a separate team that really looks into investment, create creative ideas, how to generate money. I was thinking, I'm now in the Pesara WhatsApp group. It's like the whole university is there. Diorang ni, ya Allah, I tell you, the best minds are still there, yang baru Pesara and all. And then some of them are really good. Why not we make use of them? Kalau dah dapat duit tu, okay lah, bagilah 5% ke, to pay for their time.
Just to tell you the development, the UMC has now already signed a letter that all of us will take pay cuts for 2 months. To put in a fund, which we call the 40th anniversary fund, and you are opening up to anybody who wants to take.
But sometimes, Tan Sri, there are people who just for the love of the university, they don't mind. Tapi once the money come in, we have to pay them, pay them certain percentage. Boleh. Sebab great, ideas are difficult to get. Duit tu boleh cari.
So I think the bulk of your discussion is basically what sort of culture do you want to cultivate? I think that's the underlying thing. 40 years, the university has grown. Maybe it grows because of the the circumstances as such. More than next 40 years,
I think I was fighting for more involvement of grassroots for everybody to participate. Alumni, Pesara, existing people. We must come as one. We must come as one. We cannot be like compartmentalized. Oh, ni committee ni, and then disconnected. Internal communication is so bad. Sometimes you don't know what the other committee is doing. So kita tak nampak the real problem. When we don't see the real problem, how are we going to help?
Exactly.
We cannot help if we don't know what the real problem is.
Yeah. Breaking the silos, I think, is what we are trying.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, I felt that we can do many things. It's a question of we just plodding along and working hard together, and understanding what our mission is. At the end of the day, what do we contribute to the university counts, And by then, I'm not a religious person. By then, if you do well, mungkin Allah SWT also will reward you. But if you go in, I want to find the reward, then your institution may not be rewarded, and you may not be rewarded. Like you say, if you work for somebody else, definitely that somebody else will get it, and inshallah you will get it as well. So how do you change this mindset? It is a difficult thing, but with the new minister now, Khalid Nordin, I think he has got it right. Last night he talked over, there was an interview with him. I think most of this, ideas and verbalization really resonates with what we want to do. So we need to work together, inshallah. And I hope you will keep on helping us from the outside. You know this university better. So hopefully we can connect with anybody who wants to help with the university. I see Juliana there. Again, Kuantan is very much part of it, and Kuantan has done a lot of good work. So how do you can connect and make things happen together? Yeah, I agree that we must be one. And to keep being one is a challenge, because people keep reminding us how different we are all the time. You know, so we need to forget about that and let's move together, inshallah. So thanks, Faridah, for this.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
I still remember one of the things that you also exemplify is your artwork. I mean, this is something, again, that I really wish that every one of us has got something, other things to do. We are a lecturer, find what other else thing that we can do.
The trick is to enjoy your work.
Yeah.
When it gets tough, create your own fun.
Exactly.
So I work like that, you know. I do events, and then I involve the students so that they are exposed to, again, internationalization and all that. We always have international event, Asia Pac, Islamic Film Festival, where 8 countries from Islamic world come in and students learn. So I think to do the extra mile, you have to run extra. It cannot be the day-to-day kind of routine. To be extraordinary, you have to do extra things. But there are one thing about IIUM, we've got great colleagues, admin and academic. They are ready to come in. Allah, you just tell them you have an event, say I need help. People will come.
Yeah.
Okay. Itu yang saya akan miss in IIUM. You ada tak soalan lain kalau orang lain nak tanya?
Yes. Any other questions?
Yes, any questions from the rest of the participants? You can just unmute your microphone and talk directly and ask Prof. Faridah, or maybe there are other views related to the topics that you want to share with us. Or maybe if you are a bit shy, you can also type in your questions at the chat box or in YouTube. Let me just check YouTube if there's any question. So far there's none in YouTube, and also there's so far none also at the chat box.
Semua okay, tak ada masalah.
I think it's not an issue of tak ada masalah. Yes, continue please.
Assalamu alaikum. Here, Dr. Tahrawi Murad from Kuliya of Education. It is not a question, it is just a small comment. I actually agree with Prof. Faridah on her comment when she said that people in the West, for example, questioned whether Al-Qarawiyyin University was the first ever university established, erected in the world, and they prefer Qarawiyyin in Fas, and they say that Bologna is the first university. I agree that it is the duty of our scholars, our historians, educationists, to both academically and probably lobbying politically and work hard to convince the world that Qarawiyyin, for example, is older than Bologna University, as the Westerners always claim. Because recognition and rights and recognitions cannot be just awarded to us. They need to be seized. We need to take them by our own effort. So the world will accept us and will give us our due Because if we sit like gently, calmly, and so nicely in the corner and waiting for the world to recognize our achievement, whether it is academic or whatever, it is not going to happen anyway. So I'm agreeing with you, Prof. Faridah, on that note. There is another point that you raised, and I want you here to comment on it further, a little bit elaborate. You said in the beginning of your lecture, we need to ask ourselves why people want to come to us, to IIUM, why they want to come. There must be something unique that we need to identify which we have, and the world is looking forward to benefit from. So can you a little bit elaborate on that? Because it is very important that we know exactly what we have and what we can offer to the world. Thank you very much.
Your question is, because I can't really hear you well, is why students come to us?
Yes, yes.
Well, in the past, not anymore, because of various reasons. If you look at information that I get from outside, but maybe we need to double check this. People don't come to us anymore, especially postgraduate. And one of the reasons is because they say it's very difficult to pass. It's not so much of the content, but the bureaucracy in passing the thesis. So this is one feedback. But in the past, people come to us. Remember, during the time of Abu Sulaiman and all that, people were coming to us because we had great teachers. We had people, Muslim professors from Stanford, Muslim professors from Harvard. Of course, they give different edge, coming from Harvard, coming from Stanford, and being Muslim. Different kind of take. Say for me, a Muslim teaching English Renaissance is a different take than say somebody in Oxford or where I come from, Liverpool, teaching Renaissance is a different take also. So in fact, now after retirement, I get a lot of invitation for me to speak on Islamization of English literature. People are curious. So this is, I think, our niche. This is our strength. But we have to take this seriously. How many in other kuliah are well versed in this? I have young colleagues from engineering say, oh, we don't know how you Islamize engineering, clueless. But if you listen to talk by Dato Osman Bakar, he will say, philosophy, you start with philosophy and then maths. From maths, science. Science, the spin-off is technology. But the way we teach technology is like we start with technology. You don't have a good ground in maths, philosophy, you're gone. You will not last as a scientist, as an engineer, that kind of thing. So I think the niche here, if you ask me if we are strong in this Islamization thing, because it's different, right? Even SDG, Tan Sri, it's a different kind of SDG than you get in United Nations, the Islamic edge. The maqasid comes in and so on. So this will be what people want and they will come. But we have to take it seriously. Our libraries must be that, Islamization of engineering, books produced by our teachers, it's hard coming. Where are the books on Islamization of engineering, of maths? It's not there yet. So I think I missed your first point just now. I raised the Qarawin issue because in protest that there's always resistance from the outside world, non-Muslim especially, to see us as champion of anything. Even the golden age of Islam, the Jews are saying, no, it was our Jewish scientists in Andalusia, it was our Jewish scientists in Baghdad that made golden age happen. So there's a movement in this. So kita
agree with you, Prof.
We have to resist this.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's why I raised it. That I said that we need to work hard in order to safeguard and protect even facts of history, because even when you are not taking care of yourself, the world, the competitors, the rivals, they will even deny what has been what has been a fact in history. So Ibn Rushd, for instance, Averroes the name has been little bit changed to become like Greek Averroes.
Yeah.
And they started to see that Averroes is a Jew, is not even Muslim.
Yeah. That's why we have to reclaim knowledge of our own historical heritage.
True. Thank you very much, Prof.
All right, thank you for your input.
Okay, thank you. Any other burning questions from any participants? Still no questions from the chat box. Let me just check YouTube. No questions as well from the YouTube, but there's one comment from Aisha Ibrahim, who thank you, Prof, and she mentioned that she always loved your boldness, which I also agree. You are very courageous and very bold.
I think, once you're passionate about your struggle, you forget about being shy and all that.
Yes.
Forget.
So if there's no questions or no
Aisha.
suggestions from anyone, I'm not sure if Dr. Liana is available. So maybe Dr. Liana would like to say a few words before I pass on the microphone to the next master of ceremony.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Juliana. Well, Prof, as always, always something, not just a little thing, always a lot of things that I learned when I listen to you. I think perhaps no question is perhaps for a lot of us, we need to take a step back, muhasabah, and go back to what we said. If we want to be great minds, we want to be one of those great minds, if you want to be excellent, are we willing to also step up the way you have been doing, and the way others have done? Something for us to muhasabah instead of asking, what is the university doing for us? What are we doing? What can we do? Right? Yeah.
Within Amanah, we take care of this university together, right? Everybody is involved. Any other question from Dr.
Yeah, there's a
Nobi?
question from Dr. Nobi, yes.
How do you move on from all these thoughts? Practically, it would just be like mental gymnastics. I think you can start with your own department or unit. How do you start small? Start with us. How do you make your unit efficient? Sekarang ni Dr. Nobi banyak komplain internet slow lah, tak ada lah, apalah. So, what are the things you need to do? Listen to complaints, listen to feedback on the ground. I was surprised in UM, ya Allah, internet is so poor. For a research university, it's really bad. So we need to look at what do people say about our office? What bad things? What good things? Work on that. Improve. Yeah. So I think we need to continually to engage with people. The survey, we have to take the customer survey seriously. Yeah, bukan setakat, we've done it. All right, I hope that will answer, Dr. Nobi. I cannot solve your problem, but you are the leader. You have to brainstorm, give us best service to the university. Tak ada duit, kita cari duit. Jangan harapkan university je. So many ways to look for money. Prof Amir, alhamdulillah, great sharing, many takeaways. Prof Amir, I was looking at 2020 database financial status. I don't know now, 23. The complaint is that not enough money for research. Maybe it increased every year, but I think it still need more hard work. So for that, think about how we're going to do this. How are we going to make sure that people get grants, especially if government grants are difficult to get? Focus on sponsored grants. Work with banks, work with a lot of people. They were saying some of the CSR bank kan dia orang banyak duit untuk SDGs and all that. We have to tap on that as well.
Inshallah, Prof. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
IIUM holding. Ooh,
Yeah, another comment on.
I think
IIUM
I think part of it was touched in the sense that teamwork is very important. Internal communication is very important. I think this goes to IIUM Holdings as well. We know what happened to UITM Holdings. I think it's the same with most universities. They are not heavily monitored. Wrong people in governance, people who don't know how to make money are put there, and so on and so forth. And also, I look at the structure. As I said, there's no one structure in which there's this structure focus on generating income. We are doing everything and then expect money to come in. But I don't have enough data on IIUM Holding except the how the whole thing is structured and how it needs to be heavily monitored, audited and so on frequently, and once a year or whatever. I don't have enough data to comment, but perhaps somebody should look into this as well.
Right. I think there's no more questions in the chat box, and I think in YouTube. Okay, in YouTube as well. So I think that would be all for the session, yeah, Prof?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to thank you for all your great sharings and all your wisdoms. I, as a dean, now have homework to do to bring back to the kuliah and to brainstorm within my administrators how we can move forward with all the restrictions that we're facing right now. So thank you so much.
Teamwork too. You have to engage with your people. In the past, we go out a lot together. We lunch together. We go for family outing together. And you will say again, there's no money. But if everybody put in, 50 ringgit, you can already have a good get together outside IIUM in a more relaxed way. When you know each other, then you'll be more willing to help one another when you're stuck. At the moment, sometimes kita berkira kan, oh, that's not my job. But we don't want that.
Yeah, that's right. When it comes to staff who always berkira, it's difficult to actually work together as a team. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jill.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prof, for your sharing.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Dr. Liana. All the best.
Thank you, everyone, also for keenly listening to the wisdom from Prof. Faridah. So I'd like to now hand over the session back to the Master of Ceremony, Brother Khairul Azam.
Thank you so much to our speaker, Prof. Dr. Faridah Abdul Manaf, and also our moderator, Dr. Juliana, and also to Dr. Liana and the Council Director for the speech just now. So may Allah grant you both, you all with good health, so we will all continue to benefit directly from your wisdom. So just to let you guys know, today we have about 446 participants who are eager to listen to the talk today. So just reminder to those who not yet fill out the attendance, please record your attendance. Link is available in the chat box. And Alhamdulillah, I think with this, we come to the end of the session, and may Allah continue provide us with His guidance and protection. So thank you again, everyone, for joining to the session. Then we end with the recitation of Tasbih Kifarah and Surah Al-As. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, Prof. Faridah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Prof.
Waalaikumsalam.